I hope you're doing well and welcome back to my channel. I'm glad that you're here. Today I want to stress on something, especially to people who are struggling to kind of win in life. It could be anything. We all have areas in life that we struggle, and often we struggle in life in general, and many times we have a lot of areas in which we struggle. So if you're someone who's struggling right now, health, wealth, relationships, success, and you desperately want to win and you've been losing out on a lot of things in life, then there is one thing I would suggest that you think about not doing ever in your life, and that is complaining. And I'll tell you why. Complaining is one thing that you will see none of the people that you admire, that you like, or you may say you idolize, people you look up to, they don't do that. You know why? Because winners don't complain. And why complaining is the number one thing that keeps people away from achieving everything that they want, they can, they deserve. Apart from other things, complaining is one of the major things, and it has a lot to do with how you developed as an individual from childhood, and it also means that you have a lot of control over it, how to perhaps resolve it. So what complaining does and why it drastically reduces our chances of ever succeeding in life, of ever doing anything well in life. It could be anything you want to do. It could be health, it could be wealth, it could be relationships, it could be any the simplest of tasks. But complaining and cribbing and griping about things just keeps you away from everything that you deserve and you want. Okay, why? Now, when you start complaining, what happens is your entire mental real estate, your entire resource, your internal resources, your mind, your intelligence, your awareness, your intellect, everything, your intelligence, everything is focused on the problem, on the negative aspects of it, and not on the solution. So it could be any problem or any situation or any, let's say, outside entity or whatever it is that causing discomfort, distress and difficulty. But every time if you're going to just sit and complain about it, then you are not using yourself, your intelligence, your resources to finding solutions. Rather, it just perpetuates the problem because nobody is thinking about the solution. Certainly, whatever it is that is creating the problem is not going to find the solution. So if it is a problem to you, then you have to find the solution. But you're not finding the solution because guess what you're doing? You're complaining about it. You're busy criticizing it, the situation. Now, again, it is not that it is not warranted. The criticism, the complaining, the discomfort, and all these emotions and this distress that you're going through, is it justified? You're complaining. Is your reaction justified? Yes. Are you allowed to feel that anger, that distress, and that disappointment, and all of this, that sadness, that grief? Yes. You're allowed to feel it, and perhaps that whatever it is that you're feeling is the right feeling at that moment. But complaining, criticizing is an action. And when your experience, your emotions are the stimulus, so you feel something, then what do you act upon? Do you go ahead and try and allocate whatever resources you can to find solution, or do you go back and start complaining? So it keeps you absolutely from looking in the direction of finding solutions. So what happens? You stay where you are. Nothing changes. Why? Because you don't change, because we don't change. Next, and that is perhaps the most dangerous aspect of it, you start attracting people who are going to commiserate with you, who are going to say, yes, it's so bad, and yes, that person is so bad, and yes, this is such an unfair system, an unfair world, and everything put together. Now again, I'm not saying that what they are saying is wrong. It is often a very, very unfair world. It is an unjust world, and there are people that are not just bad, but it's like malevolence personified, malice personified. And I've met people like that. I've encountered people like that, and I've had more than my fair share of that. But complaining is not going to change. It is going to attract people who are going to just make you feel more sorry. There's going to be a lovely pity party where those people are going to join in. And trust me, the moment you surround yourself with the wrong people, okay, then you're doomed. And that is the wrong kind of people to surround yourself with. If you want to win at life, you want people who acknowledge, okay, this is a disaster, this is a big mess, we messed up, what can we do? Okay, I did this, I don't like it, I hate every single moment of it. I messed up. Move on. What can I do about it? Okay? People get cheated, people get lied to, people get betrayed, and I mean, people just go through such difficulties. And every day you open the news, you look at the news, I mean, there are millions of people going through such atrocities, and there is no way, like, that your heart is not going to feel like that you can be immune to a lot of things. And more even so when you encounter it on a personal level. But complaining is a rabbit hole. You go down it, it's a slippery path, you keep slipping. Okay, you get surrounded by people, okay? And what do? You shift accountability. You shift responsibility outwards by blaming. So when you say, I am here because of him or her or anybody, okay, when you say, I did not get what I want in life because of this or that person, then what it does? The only source of power, the only person who has power in the situation is you. And what do? Instead of taking accountability, instead of taking responsibility, instead of taking power in your own hands, you give it away in the form of blame, in the form of complaining to other people. And what happens? If you don't have power, if you don't have agency, if you don't have control, even mentally, if you perceive that you have none of this, then you let go. And that leads to despair, that leads to gloom, that leads to such despondency that you're going to stay there. You're not going to get up. The moment you start blaming other people, the bitterness and the resentment of this vicious cycle that's going to start, trust me, the negativity of it you can't fathom. It has the potential, and very often it does turn people into something that they never set out to begin with. And at least I, as of now, I firmly believe that all of often that these negative entities, that these people we deem as monsters and this, they are created, they are not born. And often when we give up on what we want in life, when we encounter too much of malice, too much of negativity, too much of evil with no respite, and we have no control, then we turn towards darkness. So you shifted the blame on somebody else. Now what happens? So you keep complaining, so it's like your vision is blinded and clouded by complain. It's absolutely clouded. There's no clarity. Everywhere you see there's problem. Second thing is, now you're surrounded by people who add to that gloom, who add to the confusion. They are not contributing to your life. They're taking away. And it also ensures that people who can help you stay away from you. Because nobody who's doing anything worth doing, nobody who's going places in life wants to hang out with people who are cribbing and complaining. It brings everyone's energies down. And people who are successful, they know it more than anybody else. They're not going to come and lend you a helping hand. So you bring in closer the people you're not supposed to be around. You push away people who can be of any help. And then you take your power and throw it away in the form of blame. And what remains? What remains is this negativity, this sadness, this sorrow, this anger, this grief of unrealized potential, of a lot of these emotions that are not processed. Because when you're busy complaining and blaming, then you are not going to process, because processing, that means taking accountability. It means accepting whatever little part that you have played, often a major part rather, that we have played in perpetuating our own misery. So that is why complaining and cribbing, these are things you have to just absolutely kind of cut off from your life. Like these words, when people think about you, when people look at you, when they perceive you, these words should not even be in the vicinity of their minds. These words should never be considered. They should never be spoken of in the same line when they take your name. That's the first step towards winning at life. Accept and no complaints. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And if there is anything that I would like you to take away from this video, is to just consider, next time you want to complain and let's say criticize about the conditions in your life, pause. Process the pain. Process the anguish. And know one thing, that if there is anyone in this world who can get out of this situation and who can get to what they want in life, who can actually achieve their dreams, it's you. There is no stopping that individual who looks within and awakens. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad. And no matter what you do, never allow anyone to take away your self-belief. Never allow anyone to tell you that you don't deserve something or that you're not worth it. You're worthy, you're deserving of the very best that the life has to offer. Thank you for being here.